Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at the newly released DJI Mic Mini and compare it to the other small little microphone, the Holyland Lark M2. Before we start, this is not a sponsored review. I paid for both mics with my own money. I've been using the Lark M2 for quite some time, and I recently got the DJI Mic Mini to compare and see, is it better or is it not? Let's find out more. As you can see, I have both mics on me and both are recording at the same time. And throughout the review, I'm going to alternate between both mics so you can hear how similar they sound or how different. For the first part of the review, we're going to start with the raw, unedited audio coming from both mics. And then I'm going to apply some EQ tweaks to both audio files so you can see how they could potentially sound like if you do some post-production work. So let's start off with the cases, and as you can see, the Holyland case is slightly shorter and smaller than that of the DJI. With the DJI case, you need to press this button to open the case, whereas with the Holyland case, the case just opens freely. Now inside you get the two microphones and the receiver. Let me start by showing you the difference in the receivers. So the Holyland one is slightly smaller than that of DJI. You've got this over here, which is gain control, and you can adjust 3 different gain levels. Whereas on the DJI, you've got this that can adjust technically 6 different levels of gain. So you can go from -12, -6 to 0, +6, and +12. On both, you can see both transmitters 1 and 2 and see which one is connected. You've also got a 3.5mm input over here to connect it to cameras. And you've also got a USB-C input to charge the receivers or also connect them to your devices via USB-C, like your computers or your phones or iPads or whatnot. You've got the on button on both, which you can use to toggle on and off the receivers. And you've got another button over here. There's the link button on the DJI, which you can use to trigger noise cancellation on and off, or in the case of the DJI, to also trigger Bluetooth pairing. Both of them have clips on the back, so you can clip them on your clothes, but also these clips can both be used on a camera's hot shoe, so you can mount them on top of your camera. Now, one notable difference with the DJI, which is something I really like, is that they store the USB-C connector over here, and you can also purchase an extra one for Lightning if you have an older iPhone, which means you don't need another receiver to connect your phone or to connect via USB. What you do is simply pop this off and you slide this right in, and this is how you can connect via USB-C to a computer or phone or other device. With the Holyland, you can in theory do that with the receiver, which is the camera receiver, by getting something like this. This is a USB-C to USB-C adapter. So in theory, you can do that. However, the disadvantage of doing that is that you've occupied the only USB-C slot over here, which means when you're plugged into a phone, for example, you can no longer charge your phone at the same time. Whereas with the DJI receiver, you've plugged via this USB-C, but you've got another USB-C port over here, so you can do pass-through charging and charge your phone at the same time that you're recording. On the Holyland, they actually sell separate receivers for USB-C and for Lightning, which are very small, and they have that additional USB-C port over here, so you can do pass-through charging when you're using them. I love how small and sleek this is when you plug it into your phone versus the DJI receiver, which is a bit more cumbersome. However, I'm also a fan of having everything stored in neatly in one carrying case, be it the main receiver or the USB-C connector, versus having to carry this separately with these separate receivers. Now let's take a look at the microphones themselves. Both are very small, as you can see. The Holyland has a circular shape, whereas the DJI is more of a square. The Holyland is slightly smaller and narrower than the Mic Mini of DJI, but not by much. They both have magnetic connectors on the back, so you can attach them magnetically to your clothes without having to pinch your clothes. The DJI uses this clip over here, which is also a magnet, whereas with the Holyland Lark, you either use the magnet or another one, which is a clip that is magnetic if you want to clip to your shirt. On the transmitter itself, there's a single button on the Holyland, and you're going to use that to start or stop recording, or to trigger noise cancellation, which would change the LED color from blue to green. On the DJI Mic Mini, you've got the on button as well, but the link button in case you want to link this via Bluetooth to any other DJI products or even your phone. And you can also trigger a recording by pressing the button, or to turn on noise cancellation or off. Now they both do have apps which you can use to control or change the settings. On the Hollyland, you're going to be able to change just a couple of settings. You can choose if you want the noise cancellation to be strong or weak, and the volume between low, medium and high, and that's about it. On the DJI, you can connect them either via Bluetooth to your phone or via the USB-C connector and connect to your phone and launch the DJI Mimo app. Once you do that, you can go to settings, and here there's a little bit more settings that you can change with the DJI. You can also select if you want the noise cancellation to be strong or basic. You can select the audio channel if you want mono or stereo recording. You can select to have a safety track, which is pretty nice. Now this is only available in mono mode, and what this does is the second channel will be a couple of decibels lower in gain as a safety channel. So in case you are peaking or you're speaking too loud, you don't get any clipping because the second channel is going to be a couple of decibels lower. You can activate a low cut filter as well. You can turn on auto off or auto on off with camera. And there's a really nice feature over here, which is clipping control. So let me show you the clipping control on the DJI mic. I have it turned off right now. And if I get this close to my mouth and I start speaking, you're probably going to hear a lot of clipping that is happening right now. Let's now turn it on and see if it works. So now I turned on clipping control and the microphone is still really close to my mouth, as you can see. So if this does its job the way it's supposed to, you should not be hearing my voice clipping right now. So now let's test the noise cancellation on both microphones. I have a fan over here that's on. It's not too loud, but I'm sure you can hear it. And noise cancellation is now off. Let's start with the Lark M2. And now let me turn noise cancellation on. So I just turned on noise cancellation on the Lark M2. So this is with the noise cancellation on. I'm going to stay silent for a few seconds and then turn it off again. And this is without noise cancellation. Now let's switch over to the DJI Mic Mini, and this is with the noise cancellation turned off. Let's now turn it on. So now this is with noise cancellation turned on the DJI Mini. Again, I'm going to stay silent for a few seconds and then turn it off again. And this is with the noise cancellation turned off. So let's do a range test. This is not something I typically do because, to be honest, personally, I don't see any use cases where someone has to be this far away from the transmitters. But I found myself in a very large field, as you can see, so I figured let's do a range test. So I have both receivers over there, and I'm going to start walking away from them and see how much range we can get. Now, I have no idea of knowing when it's going to start cutting off, but we'll see that when I come back. I also have my other phone with Google Maps here. I dropped a pin over there, so I will try to see the distance and see what kind of range we can get. So right now we're about 250 feet away. I'm going to turn to face the transmitters, and this is 250 feet away. I'm going to continue back to the transmitter. I'm going to continue walking until I hit the 0.1 mile mark. I'm facing the transmitters right now, and now I'm going to turn my back towards the transmitters. And right now I am at 0.1 miles away from the transmitter. I am facing the transmitters, clear line of sight. I'm going to, so my body is technically blocking some of the signal. I don't know if you're still hearing me or not, so I'm going to face the transmitters again, continue walking, and just explain to you again what I just did in case you did not hear me. When I got to the 0.1 mile mark, I turned away from the transmitters, so my body was blocking some of that signal. If you heard me, great. If you didn't, well, now you know. Around 0.1 miles is the maximum you can probably get. Again, I don't see any use cases where someone is to be that far away. But if you do have any use cases, please do let me know. Mention them, drop them in the comment section, and let me know what possible use cases you might have for being that far away. So that's it for me for the DJI Mic Mini and the Holyland Lark M2. Let me know in the comments section which one did you think sounded better. I think Both microphones are excellent microphones. They sound very similar. You might have a preference for one over the other, but you're going to be happy with whichever one you do decide to buy. The DJI Mic Mini does have a couple of additional features over the Lark M2. Maybe most useful amongst them is the clipping control, but also the Bluetooth connectivity. So if you are in the DJI ecosystem and have any of their products, it might make more sense to get the DJI Mic Mini, because then you can wirelessly connect to your devices without the need to use the transmitter. But otherwise, I thought both sounded excellent. They're very capable products. The small size of the microphones is really nice. I'm not a big fan of the large microphones that you would put on your chest and then they would pull your clothes down and look too big and bulky. So I'm glad we have more and more options now for mini microphones. Again, let me know in the comment section which one you thought sounded better. I will put product links in the description to both products. These are affiliate links, so if you do decide to purchase any of those microphones, I would appreciate if you would go through these links. I may earn some commission on some purchases at absolutely no extra cost to you, but this will greatly help support the channel. As always, if you liked the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, as this encourages me to continue producing content. Until next time, cheers.